Good evening. Welcome to the Now and Then Show. Eric Gessner with you. We've got a special interview coming up with Thomas Winterton from The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. You know, it's a place in Utah where there's been a whole history of paranormal activities, UFOs, cattle mutilations, all kinds of weirdness. And of course, for the sake of our interview, the Triangle is a very anomalous site on the ranch. A UAP is an unidentified aerial phenomenon. So there you go. They changed it instead of UFO. So without further ado, we're going to get right into the interview. But first, I want you to listen to the trailer for Season 5 from The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch.
Go. We are on the cusp of discovering the secret of Skinwalker Ranch. The world is watching.
This season on The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch.
We need to flood Skinwalker Ranch with instruments.
Maybe we send 1.6 gigahertz at it.
This is unlike any experiment we've done before.
Heads up, they're coming down!
Oh my God, is there some invisible force causing this to happen? What is inside the mesa?
Look at that. It's like jelly. I don't know what the hell that is.
The data shows the triangle could be a wormhole. No way.
I don't think the public is ready for what you got.
Is the military letting us know we're being watched?
Do they know something we don't? What is that?
The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch.
You just heard the opening credits of the docuseries The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, now in its 5th season on the History Channel. My special guest tonight is Thomas Winterton, who carries the title of ranch manager. Each week, he joins principal investigator Eric Bard, astrophysicist Travis Taylor, security chief Bryant Arnold, researcher Caleb Branch, and of course, ranch owner Brandon Fugel to figure out what the heck is going on the 512-acre ranch called Skinwalker Ranch. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Good. So what is going on there? You guys are in your 5th season now, and congratulations making it this far. Have you had any answers yet? Are we going to see anything coming up? I know you can't give stuff away, but are we any closer to figuring out what's going on?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. And I'll point out that the show is in the 5th season. So you guys are in the 5th season. I'm actually in my 8th season as far as the investigation goes here at Skinwalker Ranch. So investigation was rolling well before the TV cameras came in. And to your question is, are we any closer? I would like to think that we've learned some things as we've come along, and in that sense, we're smarter now, and as far as maybe some of the things we know what to look for. But as you've seen on the television show, it seems like every answer we get creates 100 more questions. So it's hard to say that we're further ahead. It feels like we're further behind every time we find another answer. So.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the drone episode that's coming up here later on this year. I know you've alluded to it on a couple of podcasts, and I know you can't talk about it, but I understand that that's one of the many scary things that's happened on the ranch over the years for you.
Yeah, as I'm watching the 5th season with the rest of you. We film all summer, and then it goes into the editor's hands, and I'm just as excited to see what they put in and what they included this season as everybody else is. But knowing what we filmed and some of the things that transpired, while the first 5 have been fantastic and exciting, in my mind, I'm like, come on, let's get to the good stuff. So, there's many things, both amazing and also disturbing, yet to take place in the upcoming episodes.
We're speaking with Thomas Winterton from The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. Take us through a typical day of filming in the summer. I guess how many cast and crew do you guys have? How many cameras typically for whatever setup you're doing? Just give us a kind of a thumbnail sketch of what you guys go through in the typical filming day.
Yeah, filming is the whole filming process has been very interesting. And when we're filming, depending on like our subject matter experts, like for example, when we've had the drones out here, it takes a large crew to set up hundreds of drones. And so as far as the production crew, that varies. Say 25, 30, give or take. It just depends on the activities that we're doing. And then same with the cameras. The cameras will fluctuate. If we've got a big experiment that's got a lot of us and a lot of moving parts, they'll bring in additional cameras and camera operators. And so it's very fluid, and it fluctuates. But that's one of the remarkable things about the show is that, the audience is watching the team as we go through this investigation. But some of the remarkable things that have happened, the telescope night when we saw the UAPs or any of the UAP sightings, it's not just us 5 that are seeing them. There could be as many as 35 or 40 people behind the camera that are also seeing and witnessing it as well. So a lot of witnesses to the things that are taking place here.
I saw one of your podcasts or heard it or something. I can't remember which one it was, but I believe you were talking about there are a lot of people that came onto the ranch for one reason or another for the film crews and never want to return. Is that correct? Did I hear that right?
There have been a couple of the film crew, but more to do with our subject matter experts that we've brought on. We bring these individuals on that are experts in their respective fields, and we've had a number of those that are just they come here, they help us and assist us with what they came to do, and then they're done. They don't want to come back. They don't want to. It's amazing how shaken up some of them have been as we've had to take them off the ranch. So absolutely, and there have been, there are some production team members that have, for one reason or another, just not. But it's been more of our subject matter experts that we're bringing on that have been shaken up.
It's tough work out there. I've seen the videos that Caleb has put out, and you and Eric has alluded to things on the chat, and I'm an insider as well. And it's pretty fun to talk to him about what goes on there. And, that the soil conditions are, it's like talc in the summer and really muddy in the winter. And you guys got to work through that. That can't be easy.
Yeah. And that is one of the difficult things, the one thing about filming is we're on a schedule. We only have a certain number of days to get what we need to do. And so when we get a cloud burst or a rainstorm here in the summer, we right there, especially right there along where the road runs along the base of the mesa is all clay. And it doesn't take very much water for that just to turn into it's slicker than an ice skating rink. And you can't keep a vehicle on the road. A matter of fact, I've had a full-size excavator, on tracks where I was trying to come up out of the triangle up on the road, and it was so slick, I was having to put my bucket down and use it to try to pull myself up. And then as soon as I would lift the bucket up to put it up further, the excavator would just slide back down to the bottom. So when we have those things occur, it makes it very difficult to traverse across the ranch.
Yeah, it looks like you guys work pretty hard. I've been watching the cameras here the last few days, and you and Eric going up the tower there above the mesa. You guys, I can see you guys hanging up the tower. You're up, 20 feet in the air, something like that. How tall is that thing?
Yeah, the towers are 20 feet. It really gets into your head because, all 3 of our towers up on top of the mesa are mounted, as close out to the edge as we dare get them. And so when you're climbing up the tower on the mesa, it's not so bad on the ones that are down on the ground, but the ones that are up on the mesa, you're climbing it. And even though it's 20 feet off the ground, when you're looking through the truss tower there, you're actually looking much further down than that because it's on the edge of the cliff, and it really plays with your psyche. Makes you feel like you're much higher than you really are.
That's for sure. I want to ask you about Candace Lindy and Tom Lewis. They're the caretakers. Have they been the caretakers for a number of years now, or are they kind of come for the season or parts of a season?
No, they've been our full-time caretakers. They came, I think they came on in 2019, if I remember right. There were some caretakers that were here when Brandon purchased the property, and they remained with us a couple of years. And then Candace and Tom came on as our full-time resident caretakers.
I imagine those two have some stories of when the filming's not happening and you're off with your family at your ranch. I imagine they've got stories. Are they documenting stuff as things happen while they're there? Have they seen anything weird?
Yeah, I won't speak for them. I just know in the conversations back and forth, that yes, they have had their own experiences here, as all of us have. You can't, I don't think you can spend a lot of time on the ranch without having something occur. And so, a lot of us that have spent a lot of time here, we all have our stories, and they do too.
Now, are they documenting that? Do they have cameras and things like that, where if they see something, they can run out and take pictures or anything like that?
I know Candace is, just being the anthropologist that she is, documenting is a big deal in her line of work. And so I can't speak for them, but I do know that they have documented stuff for us and brought things to our attention before. So I don't know to what extent, but yes.
They do a really good job with the native people in the community, interviewing them about things they've seen or their ancestors have seen. And I really enjoy when you guys bring them on and they go through that stuff, because there's some great stories out there, and it definitely gives you the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, well, as part of the investigation, there's the things that are occurring on the ranch today, and the things that we're trying to measure and record and document. But we inherited a narrative, and as part of that, part of the investigation relies on us going around to the neighboring properties, as well as people here in the Uinta Basin, and trying to put together, how far back can we document strange things happening here at the ranch and in the surrounding areas. And it's been fascinating. Jim Morse is really our liaison. I'll credit Jim with so many of these people, especially the Native Americans. Jim has spent his life in service to the Native Americans, has raised literally tens of millions of dollars for Native American scholarships, and has just been so invested in trying to better Native American lives that Jim's really been our go-to guy. He's brought in a lot of the people that Tom and Candace have interviewed have been individuals that Jim has gone out and found and brought in. And it's been remarkable to hear the stories from the locals. And it's been interesting too, because I'll tell you, I think it's been a pretty good mix of 50-50. Half the people around here, you ask them and they look at you and they're like, oh, we've been here for 25 years and we've never seen anything. We think you guys are crazy, And then there's the other 50% that are if you can gain their trust, which Jim is just so good at doing. If you can gain their trust, they'll open up and they'll say, yeah, we've experienced many of the same things that's been documented on the ranch. Some of them have some pretty good evidence that they've shown us. I've seen videos. I've seen pictures. I've had a lot of people pull me to the side and show me actual documented evidence that they have of their experience. And it's been nothing short of remarkable of what people have captured in the nearby area, especially immediately surrounding the ranch.
How has life changed for you and your family? I mean, you've got this major TV show that millions are watching across the world, and really many times over. They're watching it more than once. And when your kids are at school or you go into the hardware store or the grocery store to pick up something for the wife, how does your life change? Do people think you're a rock star now, or your kids? Are they walking with their heads high in the school?
It's been an absolutely fascinating. I'm just going to call it a study, really, to watch what's happened. Again, you got a lot of people that I grew up in this area, so you got a lot of people that knew me when I was a kid. I think they're still trying to wrap their heads around like what Tommy is actually like. Anybody that knows me as a kid calls me Tommy, and I think that a lot of them are still trying to like put that together. I mean, I was the kid in high school. I did not like school. I was not a schoolboy. I was a hands-on, wanted to be out of the classroom type of kid. So I had a couple teachers tell me I wasn't going to amount to much in life. And I imagine there's a few of them scratching their head trying to figure out how the heck this took place. But it's been interesting. Some people embrace you and are excited, like, oh, you're famous. It's been fascinating to watch. There's a lot of people that get jealous, and I've had people that were good friends before that I don't know why they just they won't talk to me anymore, won't associate with me anymore. And then there's all the people I didn't know before. To tell you the truth, my wife and family doesn't send me to the store for stuff anymore if they want it fast, because I can't just run in the store and get a gallon of milk anymore. People come up to me, they want to share their story or to get a selfie or something. That has changed dramatically. I can't just it in a lot of ways, losing your anonymity and your just fitting in the world is something. There's sometimes I'm thinking, I don't know if this was a good trade or not.
But when it's go time, when you guys are out there in the dark and you're launching rockets and you're seeing stuff and lasers and all, how much fun are you having? I mean, that's got to be a blast when it's go time.
It is. Well, I'll tell you, I love the guys that I work with. Our team is just amazing. Every one of the guys that I get to work with, we have a lot of fun together. And then our production team, I mean, we got the A team. We got great producers, great camera guys, great everybody. Everybody that's on that production is great people. And so it does make it a lot of fun. And there are times, I just look and I'm like, how lucky am I to be part of this? Because there are some really exciting, cool things that take place. And just to kind of stand back for a second and watch it unravel and take place is sometimes surreal.
All right, we're speaking with Thomas Winterton of The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. He's one of the team members. We're having a great time with him here. We're going to play a quick track here. We're going to play some music here from Robert John and the Wreck, and he's from The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, now in his 5th season. Of course, he's been there 8 years now, documenting this weirdness that's going on at Skinwalker Ranch in Utah. And we're just kind of going through stuff. So when you guys have people there, the film crew and all that, are they staying there? Do you have a whole trailer park there that we don't see are they out staying at the hotels?
No, they stay off property. And
Okay.
The only one of production that's, or not production, but the only one that's staying on the property that's not here the rest of the year is Travis, right? Travis will come and he'll stay on the property during that, but then he goes home after the filming's done. But no, everybody else stays off site.
I wanted to talk to you about Travis. Season 4 last year, episode 1, he basically let you guys know that he was part of the team that wrote the UAP report that went to Congress. How did that make you feel when you first heard that? And how do you feel about that now?
Well, look, really, in a lot of ways, it's a non-issue. I value our national security. I think we all appreciate having a safe country to live in, right? So obviously you don't want those individuals that have top secret security clearances to be violating the terms of their trust that's been put in them. So for that, it is what it is. The only part of it that I was worried about was obviously when we're filming, you share, like, especially me specifically, I can't speak for the rest of the team, but me specifically, there are things about my head injury that I have not shared publicly ever. And I don't know if I ever will. And as we're here as a team, those are things that there are some details I shared with Travis that I just haven't shared publicly. And they're not necessarily things I want going up the chain either. And so when I heard that, my only, call it self-centered, but my only issue with that whole thing was I was just only concerned, like, and I pulled Travis aside in private and I said, I want to know how much of what I told you got repeated up the chain. That was my only concern. was the personal information I had shared with him pertinent to my head injury. And after, we talked about that, I was fine with that. As far as, what's happening here at the ranch, whatever, it didn't bother me that much. I was only concerned about myself and what I'd shared.
All right, here's a good one for you. Let's say you've got an unlimited supply of money, of cash. You got helicopter after helicopter delivering cash for you guys to design an experiment where you think you could get some answers, an unlimited budget. What would you guys do? Have you guys ever talked about that?
Oh, I know the scientists have a nice laundry list of experiments that they would love to do. I think that really a lot of the money would be spent on instrumentation. You start getting into some of these instruments and they're just extremely expensive. I would expect that they'd want to do something in the, looking at time. Atomic time clocks can be very expensive. There's some things with, I'm trying to remember, there's been a couple of things that they brought up and they're like, oh, that'd be so cool, but it's so expensive. To be honest with you, I don't know what the scientists would do. They've talked about it. My mind is stuck. I can tell you right now, I'd be saying, yeah, I need equipment for irrigation ditches. I need equipment for, mounting this stuff. I could spend $1 million tomorrow, easy, just with stuff pertinent to what my responsibilities are. I know the scientists could probably spend millions and millions in their department.
Yeah, you need to dig holes so you can protect all the cabling from the nasty marmots who like to chew on cables.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. All right. We're speaking with Thomas Winterton here from the Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. You guys got a tour coming up in January in Texas, Louisiana, and Pennsylvania. What's that like?
Oh, I'm excited for this. I'm excited for the tour. I enjoy, first of all, I love traveling. So anytime I get to go out on the road, I love it. But I also just really love meeting with the people and hearing, the things that they have. I love hearing from the fans' point of view, like what things have captivated them, what things they're interested in, what they've liked about the show, what they haven't liked. So to be able to get out with the fans and really hear, what kind of things they've appreciated seeing, not appreciated. I love interacting with the fans.
And you've got the Phenomicon coming up in September as well. And that sounds like a lot of fun. I wish I could go to that. I'm not sure I could make it, but sounds like fun.
Oh, Phenomicon's a blast. And I have to say, in my heart, I'm a local boy and economic development's in my blood. It's one of the things. Matter of fact, I have a company. Brandon and I have a company together that we do economic development consulting. And so anything I can do to help the area, help the local businesses. Really, that's what Phenomicon came out of, was a way to drive tourism and bring people to the Uinta Basin and help the local businesses. And Phenomicon's been a lot of fun. I'm very proud of it. I love it, and it's been a fun experience, I think, for everybody that's made the effort to come.
So I got to ask you about your trademark black leather hat. There's got to be a story behind the hat. So do tell.
There is. So funny enough is I've always been a baseball cap kind of guy, and but I'm also a beach bum. So my family, we go to Florida every year. We hang out on the Atlantic coast, and while we're there, I have this old straw hat, black straw hat that I wear. I'm there. Nobody knows who I am. I can get away with it because it's ridiculous. I think it embarrasses my kids. But we happened to be in Steamboat Springs, just hanging out for a couple of days. And we were walking through the shops and we came across this black leather hat. And it looks almost identical to the straw one, although it looks a little better. And I put it on. My wife said, "You're buying that." She's all, "That looks good on you." I was like, "Okay." But so I bought it and I wore it off and on. And it just so happens that before the show had even started, we had some of the producers were here and some pre-production stuff. and they saw me with the hat, and he pointed at me. He's like, "You're wearing that hat on television, or you're wearing that hat for the show." I was like, "What?" And so it's like, okay, so I have wore the hat for the show, um, and it's funny because the people knowing me growing up, I take a lot of flack for it here in the local area because they're like, "I never seen you wear a cowboy hat till TV," and I was like, "Well, it's kind of a for TV type of thing, but I do like the hat." So,
Nice. So how big is your ranch at home there?
you're talking Skinwalker Ranch?
No, yours. Don't you have property?
Well, yeah, my parents have a 600-acre property that I actually live just off of it in the corner, and then my in-laws have a 500-acre cattle ranch up at the base of the Uinta Mountains. It's absolutely gorgeous. And it's about 20 minutes from here at the ranch. It sits right at the base of the Uinta Mountains. It's about 500 acres. Gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm sitting on 20 acres of young timber and Christmas trees here in Oregon, and
Nice.
I wonder if you can see that. I don't know if you can see. Can you see that out there a little bit?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
very nice.
those are Christmas trees back there. Yep, yep, it's pretty fun. I like having property. It's kind of nice. We have a U-cut tree farm, and it's lots of fun, but it's lots of work too. So yeah. So where can we get the Skinwalker Ranch merch? Where's the website at?
Go to skinwalker-ranch.com. And there's a store on there that you can get the hoodies and the shirts and the merchandise.
Yeah, and one thing I want to recommend, the insiders are a big part of what you guys do. We interact with Eric all the time. I haven't been on when you're on, but I've heard you've been on, and it's a lot of fun. And it would be a great monetary decision for you guys to let the insider design the merch. We got some great ideas.
That's not a bad idea. That's I don't
We
know
could
if
come
that's
up with like a couple hours on the chat. We could come up with all kinds of stuff.
Oh, I bet you guys can. I love our insiders. They're so creative and literally we've got people from around the world on there, and so you get a whole diverse background of cultures and viewpoints, and I imagine you guys come up with all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. And to be real, I'm an insider too. There's a fee for it. It's a yearly fee, and you get a t-shirt, and you get to interact with some of you guys and see a lot of behind the scenes footage and things that they don't share on the TV show. And it's, I've been on it since I think just after the first of the year, and it is great fun. And you got, every day I log on to the website, I show 4 views of the cameras, and sometimes Eric Bard is out there schooling us on different infrared cameras or near infrared cameras, and it's way fun.
I'd encourage anybody that's following the investigation with us that likes the show. I would encourage them to go on and check out the insiders. We value insiders. The insiders have contributed so much to our investigation, just catching things. AI can only go, nothing can replace the human as far as, the intellect and the observation. And so we have these live stream cameras that are going out from the ranch, and the things that the insiders have captured on there that the other software has missed, and brings it to our attention. They've made a lot of great finds, contributed to some of our planning, when we were looking for ideas. So it's a great community, and it's something that we find value in ourselves. And there's so much that goes on here that's not seen on television, and it's a great outlet for us to be able to tell the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey used to like to say.
Brandon Fugel is very appreciative of the insiders, and every time I see him on a podcast or on one of your after action talks or whatever, he's always very thankful to the insiders, and he really treats everybody is really like you guys almost. It's pretty cool to see it. It feels like you're part of something.
Yeah, well, our insiders are part of something, and we value them. And these days there's 1,000 things pulling for our money. It seems like every every time we turn around, somebody's trying to reach in our pocket. And so for our insiders that like you say, it is a paid subscription, but for those insiders that subscribe and join our community, we appreciate them, and we recognize the fact that you guys are making a sacrifice to be part of the community, not just with your money, but with your time and your energy and your focus. And so we take that seriously, and we love utilizing the insiders. They just bring so much, we have with the team, 5 team members here, we got 10 eyeballs, but you bring in the live stream cameras and the thousands of insiders out there, and suddenly we've just, multiplied our effort, and many eyes can catch things. We've had insiders point things out that we weren't able to capture. There's just too much going on for the 5 of us to stay on top of it. And so we really do rely on our insiders to help be our eyes and ears with some of this stuff. So
how many hours a week do you put on the ranch?
So I'm usually about 40 plus. So, which, I have a day job besides this. So sure. I have to tell you, in May, many of those weeks I was working 80, 90 hours a week.
No doubt.
40, 50 here on the ranch, and then trying to do 40 to 50 at my day job.
Crazy, man. Well, Thomas Winterton has been our guest from The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. It's great to sit down with him. Hopefully we can do this again when season 6 starts, right? Hopefully that'll be happening. I haven't heard anything, but thumbs up on that, right?
Yeah, I don't think I can say anything yet, but I'll say that there's even more crazy things coming up in the rest of the episodes on season 5. And I think there's good momentum and good energy that people are going to not be happy if it just were to end there. So we'll leave it at that.
All right. Perfect. All right. Thanks so much, Thomas. We hope to do this later.
Great. Thanks for having me on.
My thanks to Thomas Winterton, ranch manager of Skinwalker Ranch, and of course, one of the investigators on The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. And I tell you what, I had a great time talking to him. That one's a bucket list interview for sure. I love the show, love what it brings, raises all kinds of questions, never get many answers, but it's still a hell of a ride. All right, let's get back to the music. Here's the clips, and they'll be